marketing the new sales or sales the new marketing? My name is Leo Merle, Marketing Programs Manager at Acton Software, and I'd like to thank National Mortgage Professional Magazine for allowing me the opportunity to present to you. Today I'll be covering the evolution of sales and marketing. You may be asking yourself, what is the evolution of marketing and sales? So I want to start off by giving a bit of historical context. Just a few short years ago, the business world was a very different place. Traditional marketing was focused on top-down marketing, providing a sort of air cover. Marketers focused on things that would get the company known or helped build the brand. The problem with this approach goes back to an adaptation of John Wanamaker quote, "Half of marketing is working and the other half is not. I just can't tell which one." So that was kind of the way the old marketing worked. We'll go into how that has changed and marketing is adapted as this presentation continues. Sales, on the other hand, has changed as well. In the past, sales was focused on taking down the deals and was very relationship focused, getting out and meeting face-to-face with prospects. This was a very qualitative approach to sales versus a quantitative approach. And that has also changed. There's a whole new model called the web touch model. We at Acton, where we sell primarily into mid-market or departments at large companies, really exist in this whole web touch sales model. While relationships are still important in selling, now the interactions happen more over the phone and web. Actions and engagement count a lot. That has really put a different set of priorities in front of sales and marketing teams. How and why this all started is because of change in the buyer's journey. The key point here is that there was a distinction between the sales and marketing departments, which had different concerns, different responsibilities, different lexicons, and different ways of measuring success. Essentially, they were operating in silos. Today, we live in a bottoms-up world where word gets out via sharing, which means buyers are now in the driver's seat and direct their own buying journey. Demand Gen reports had research that showed that 78% of all buyers started their buying process with a web search. So it's about becoming a trusted advisor to buyers as they move through their journey. Being able to understand where they are on their journey so as to influence their next steps and hopefully be the one of their choice and their consideration. As marketers and sales folks, we need to be aware of that. We're not necessarily going to be in front of them when they start their search, and they're going to do it independent of us. In fact, 2/3 of all folks who interact with a vendor are well along their buyer journey before that first conversation. 2/3. That is a large number. And as the slide points out, 50% turn to social media and peer reviews. So what this is really showing is that you have all these things that are interacting with prospects. And as sales and marketing people, we have to ask ourselves how we interact with people in this world. Integrating marketing and sales systems creates interdependencies. Sales and marketing personnel work closely together at every stage in the customer lifecycle, from the nuts and bolts of lead scoring to the nuances of creating and applying personas. This technological revolution allows sales and marketing key gains that were, for the most part, unthinkable even 10 years ago. These gains can be broken down into 4 key concepts: engagement, intelligence, insight, and inspiration. And they should serve as guideposts that you can ask yourself, am I doing these things? How well am I doing them? These can apply to both organizations, not just marketing or just sales, but both of them together. In fact, it reduces the distinction between what these two groups do and are responsible for. Starting off with engagement, think about that buyer's journey. As I mentioned, buyers are doing research. That's really where they take their first step. How do you engage with them when they are starting on their journey? Really focusing on how you are engaging at the top of the funnel. One of the important parts of the engagement process is that today you need to use multiple channels because these channels do different things. They have different effectiveness and they do different things during the buyer's journey. For example, in the early part of that engagement, creating great content, search engine optimization, and marketing are all very important things because they help you get found. If you don't do that, how are people going to find you when they start doing their research on the web? Then there are other channels, email, webinars like we're doing now. These are great for engaging with folks that have already found you. Now there's an engagement process and education process, and you are now focusing on positioning yourself as a trusted partner. People want to do their research on their own, but they are looking for a trusted partner to gather objective information. This is all a continuous process. Engagement goes through different stages, trying to find people that fit based on demographic or firmographic information, but also behavioral information. And this is why the engagement process is so important. Your nurturing campaigns and scoring rules are going to be based on this engagement information. And when the buyer is ready to make that decision, you will be top of mind. The engagement stage is a continuous stage, and it's a long-lasting stage. It starts right at the beginning, from before someone knows about you, and it goes all the way through to when they make the purchase decision. And frankly, it goes beyond that. How do you make them a successful customer? Is what you need to ask yourself. Then, what are you doing to continue that relationship? What we do to more effectively sell and market, think about that question. It comes down to needing to create content, a curriculum of content, a content plan that matches a buyer's journey. How do you take them through that journey and become a trusted advisor? How do you get found along the way? And what are some of the techniques that you're using? As a marketing automation company that focuses a lot on outbound, email nurturing, lead scoring, we found it was also very important to have an inbound capability, basically the ability to help customers get found. How does that search engine complement the paid advertising you're doing? And then how do you optimize that across all channels and touch points? Social is very important, and marketing through social channels is critical because people are going to find you that way, learn about you that way, and they are also going to get reinforcements through that channel. A recurring question we hear time and again from customers and prospects is that they have a difficult time creating enough content to feed the engagement cycle. But you would be surprised how much content you do have. To make sure you're getting the most from the content you do have, repurpose and utilize content across multiple channels in multiple formats. People consume content quite differently from one another. Some prefer a blog post or an RSS feed, while others may be more interested in attending a webinar to get that information. What is important to remember is that offering information in a variety of formats allows you to get more reach with the content that you already have. As you can see here, this is an example of that type of repurposing content. We started with a white paper called Getting Started with Marketing Measurement. From there, we did an email campaign. We then posted it on our website so it could be found through the search engines. We have blog posts written about it so people can consume it in shorter, smaller bits. It was then turned into a webinar with the same title as the white paper. Then we created social media promotions around it and promoted it through Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. This was one white paper which became a rich source of useful content that can feed campaigns for weeks and possibly even months. It provides multiple touch points through multiple channels on one piece. Another way of getting more out of your content is to break it into smaller pieces. White papers are very popular, but how many people download them and then actually read them right away? Quite honestly, most of us don't have time to read 10 pages of content. So if you can break it down into a blog post series where now you have 4 pieces of content that you can promote via social media, you can use this in your content strategy and it will be found via search engines, all from this 10-page white paper, broken up into more digestible pieces. Once you've started the engagement process, you'll want to look at intelligence. What are you learning about prospects you're interacting with? And what are you doing with that information? It's about data. and trying to make decisions based on that. From a marketing and sales execution standpoint, we need to do this, and we can do it better today than we've been able to in the past. What you see here is a profile of a prospect, William Adeocean, and this shows what he's been doing. You can see how many web pages he's visited, how many webinars he's attended, and when he first engaged with us, which about 414 days ago, but it also shows his most recent interaction, which was 2 days ago. And this information is critical for not just a direct marketer, but also for a sales rep. To be able to pull up this profile and have all of this rich information in front of the rep. It contains not just profile information about where he works, job title, things of that nature, but also the engagement information of how he's interacting. And as you start using this information, you get smarter. And then you have to start making some decisions about what you do with it. What are the actionable steps you are going to do based on what he's been doing? This information should be available to both sales and marketing, and you should have follow-up rules based on what actions William's taken. For example, let's say that William watched a demo and he's more likely to buy. We look at it if somebody does that on our side. We view that as a way that someone's really interested in maybe taking that next step. Then anyone who watches a demo should be passed over to sales right away to continue the buying process. Intelligence gathered needs to be shared in real time between sales and marketing. One way of doing this is through lead scoring. This also helps prioritize leads for the sales team so they spend their time on the prospects that are farthest along in the sales process. Some examples of activities to score include website visits. Are there specific pages that are worth more or a higher purchasing sign? For example, if someone visits a pricing page, that might be a good indication that they're ready to move forward. Also, product videos or demos watched. You want to make sure this is scored properly and available to your sales team. So if somebody comes in, watches a video of a demonstration of what you've done, you want the sales team to know about that right away if it's scored properly. Also, what webinars have they registered for and which ones have they attended? What physical events have they gone to? Which white paper downloads and when? This really is a good indication too. If you have some white paper content that's up there, it really talks about your brand and your product and what kinds of problems you're trying to solve. And somebody downloads that, it's a good chance that they're really getting interested in moving along in that buyer journey. So being able to rank leads based on score allows you to pass the hottest and most ready leads to sales, while marketing can continue to nurture and engage with leads that aren't as far along the buyer's journey. Let's look at a few stats on the importance of lead scoring. 70% of sales leads are not properly leveraged or are completely ignored, thus wasting marketing program dollars. And leads aren't being ignored because sales is lazy. It's because they need to prioritize their time. And lead scoring can help with this prioritization. According to Gleanster research, 84% of survey respondents said that their primary reason for implementing a lead scoring system was to achieve added revenue. It's important for a company on all ends, sales and marketing, together to help build up the revenue for your organization and be able to have agreement on what are the most important leads and when they should be passed from marketing to sales is critical for that revenue stream. And lastly, according to Marketing Sherpa, the average lead generation ROI for organizations using a lead scoring process is 138%, in comparison to 78% lead generation ROI from those surveyed who are not using a lead scoring process. Lead scoring not only increases lead gen ROI, but also helps bring sales and marketing into alignment on common, agreed upon goals and objectives. The next progressive step is to consider insight, which is about using the intelligence you have in order to make predictions of what will happen next. Looking at one of my earlier examples, folks who attend a demo are more likely to buy. Right there, that's an insight. Here at Acton, folks who come in from our website and visit our pricing page or participate in a live demo are considered high-quality prospects. And as such, we know we need to get in front of these folks quickly. That's where there's an interaction with our marketing system and our sales system that notifies a sales rep that someone has taken one of these important actions. What we're trying to get away from is disqualifying people early. In fact, SiriusDecision has this great statistic that 80% of the prospects deemed bad leads by sales go on to buy within 24 months. So if somewhere along the way we're not filtering this information enough, we're not collecting the intelligence using the insights enough to be able to make the right decisions, someone else is going to win the business. And what those signs are really going to depend on the business that you're in. We have businesses that one particular action has a high correlation to sales with one type of prospect, but not with another. For example, we have one client that is in the biopharmaceutical world. They notice that logistical people tend to download a lot of white papers, and it looks like they are doing a lot of research, but they not actually buyers. So being able to combine the profile information, title, size of the company, along with the behavioral information allows you to focus attention on the true buyers. Once you know who to focus on, you want to make sure you're nurturing those prospects. According to Forrester Research, companies that excel at lead nurturing generate 50% more sales-ready leads at 33% lower cost. I'm going to repeat that because it's very important. Companies that excel at lead nurturing generate 50% more sales-ready leads at 33% lower cost. So what might a lead nurturing system look like? Here's an example based on someone who found you via search and downloaded a white paper. Then they filled out and submitted a form to get that particular white paper. And since they filled out a form, you have information on them. In turn, a confirmation email is triggered with a link to the asset for future reference. People may download white papers and misplace a document, and the confirmation email can actually serve as a link back to the white paper so they can review it again. This also tells you what content they're interested in, so maybe you can send them an email of a webinar that might be on the same or similar topic, or maybe even a message with a link to an ebook or an infographic. What's important to recognize here is that it can be a delicate balance, that getting the right message to the right person at the right time offers tremendous upside. It establishes credibility and authority, creates brand affinity, and maybe most importantly, reduces sales resistance. So it's important that you develop a content curriculum that maps to your buyer's persona. Remember, they're in control and they drive what they're looking for. You just need to position yourself along the way so that they turn to you for answers and not to your competitor. The last thing we're going to look at is inspiration. Sales and marketing teams should look at being responsible or at least involved in the entire customer lifecycle, not just the initial acquisition. Take the time to make them a customer, make them a more loyal customer, and help them be successful and become an advocate for you. Remember, it costs 6 to 7 times more to sell to a new customer than to an existing one. And McKinsey research shows that 70% of buying experiences are on how the customer feels they are being treated. Finally, it's important to remember that when marketing and sales are aligned, we're 30% better at winning customers than those that were not. That line between the organizations has been blurred. Marketing is sales, and sales is marketing. So the ultimate result of all that we've just covered is that you have this flow of the customer lifecycle, leading to a better experience for prospects, more effective process for acquiring customers, and more importantly, more satisfied and loyal customers that leads to more business for your organization. So the way we map this out on this funnel is fluid, with joint efforts. There's no one point at which marketing stops and sales starts. And the information should be available to both organizations. There should be a transparency so that sales knows what actions and activities have taken place to make somebody a lead and prioritize their leads that they have, and marketing needs to have the information of what took place on those calls if someone is not ready. So if they go back to remarket or re-nurture, we have more insight on how to make the process better. And we are passing these leads, we need to ask ourselves, are we passing leads too early, or what do we need to do to change that? The insights of this information needs to be sorted out. The key metrics need to be discussed and aligned between the two organizations in order. Everyone needs to agree on what we're measuring, what is the end goal, and how we are going to work together to achieve it. So I've presented a lot of information here today, and if you're ready to learn more, please feel free to give us a call, send us an email, or visit us on the web to get more information on what Act-On's marketing automation solution can do for you and your business. As you may know, Act-On Software is a leading provider of cloud-based integrated marketing automation software and was named a leader among lead-to-revenue management vendors in the 2014 Forrester Wave, was ranked on the Inc. 500 list of America's fastest-growing companies, named to the Forbes America's Most Promising Companies list of 100 U.S.-based privately held high-growth companies, and ranked 48th on Deloitte's 2013 Technology Fast 500 list of fastest-growing technology companies in North America. I want to thank you all for your time today, and I hope this information is useful for you. Again, if you're ready to learn more, please reach out to us, give us a call, send us an email, or visit us on the web. My name is Leo Merle, Marketing Programs Manager for Act-On Software, and thank you very much.